If you end up in a sticky situation where you don't have position on your 8-ball like I do, you don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is call the side pocket. When you cut the 8-ball in, it goes right in, and you win the game. It looks complex, but it's a lot simpler than you think. Let me show you how to get it done.
What's nice about this 3-rail bank is you just need to make the object ball travel down the correct line to start, and the rails work their magic and bring the ball right into the side pocket. What's even cooler is we can use the diamonds to find this exact line. We just count the rail that we're banking off of and the rail that we're banking from, and find a line where the numbers match on either end on those two rails, and that's the line we shoot down. We'll start by counting the rail that we're banking off of. Here we start in the pocket, and the pocket starts at 0. Then we count by 8. So this is 8, 16, and 24. We're not going to use that because really the system only works this bottom half of the table. Now we need to count the rail that we're banking from. We start at the pocket, and that's 0. Then we count by 2s. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Easy as that. Now we just need to find a line where the numbers match on either side of the table. Since we know that the first diamond there is 8, we can assume that just beneath it is 6. And as you can see from the line through my cue, that we are at the 6th diamond to the 6th spot just beneath 8. For ease of example, here's just a straight shot down the 6-6 line to get a feel for the system. But if you shoot this ball dead straight with no spin, the 10 ball will go around the rails directly into the side pocket.
Absolute money. 3-rail bank, 3% interest. Wait, is that good? 3% cash back. That's better. That's what we want. 3% cash back, 3-rail banks.
And this works for anywhere where the two numbers match. So it works at 8, 8, and it works at 10, 10. However, I will say around the 10, 10 mark is where the system starts to break down. And this is really as high as you're able to go. It's a very small window where you're able to make balls using this shot. And that's because if you noticed, as the numbers on either end of the line increase, so all the way up to 10-10, the object ball hits closer and closer to the corner pocket of the second rail of the bank. Eventually, either you catch the nipple of the pocket and the bank doesn't work, or the object ball just one rail banks into the corner pocket. Now, the chance of you being on a straight line in a real game situation, while not 0, are very small, so let's see how to cut this shot in. You might be tempted to just cut the ball down the line that we count. So here we have the 6-6 line. Let's see if we cut down that line, it comes up short. This is because when you cut the object ball, the cue ball rubs the object ball on the right side and puts right spin on the object ball, also known as check spin. It's called check spin because the spin to the right fights the natural bounce of the object ball off the rail to the left, making the object ball come off at a shorter angle than expected, aka you miss. So to counteract this induced spin, we can actually overcut the object ball. One rule of thumb is the closer the object ball is to the corner pocket, the more overcut is required for this system to work. Usually it's around 1 diamond of shift. So instead of shooting down the 6-6 line, you actually pivot at the contact point and move the end of your cue up 1 diamond. Now we cut down this line from 8 to 4 or 2. And poof, like magic, goes in.
That's what I call money, money. Wait, that's not money, money. That's money, money, money. 3 rails.
As the object ball moves further down table away from the corner pocket, the less overcut angle is required. So here we're on the 10-10 line, and we just need to add about a half diamond of extra cut to counteract the induced check spin. And as you can see, works here too.
And that's green like the color of money.
But let's say you're in a position where you can't overcut the ball, because if you try to overcut the ball, you'll bump into the 1 ball. So what are you supposed to do then? Well, you can apply outside spin to the cue ball to remove the induced spin on the object ball. This is called gearing English. Gearing English is a whole topic in and of itself, so I won't go further into it in this video. Just know that outside spin removes the induced check spin on the object ball. And now, by applying that outside spin, we can cut the object ball down the counted out 6-6 line, even though we're cutting it. And it goes right in. But does this work if we cut the object ball the other way? Yes, it does. However, now the cue ball rubs the object ball on the other side and adds running spin to the object ball, meaning the object ball will now bank more than expected and bank long. To counteract this, we can either overcut the object ball so it goes steeper into the rail than we expect, and then the running spin will actually open up the object ball off the rail and bring it down the correct path, Or you can use outside English in order to remove any of the induced spin or throw, so that way the object ball goes down the intended line and it goes around the rails as you expect, right into the side pocket.
Come on, you can't tell me that's not just a little cool.
Something important to note is the induced spin the cue ball puts on the object ball dissipates over time. So if the object ball is sufficiently far enough away from the rail you're banking off of, you don't need to overcut the object ball or even put spin on the cue ball. The object ball will lose all spin effect by the time it reaches the rail. So you can cut the object ball down the expected line without anything special, and you made another 3-rail bank.
I didn't do any work there besides cutting it. All the spin was applied by the rails and took it directly into the side pocket. It's pretty cool.
As I mentioned before, this bank system works well for lower matching numbers, with around 10-10 being the max. If you aim down the 12-12 line, you will likely overshoot the pocket. However, just like how we use spin to change the object ball path with outside spin on a cut shot, we can use inside spin on the cue ball here to change the path of the object ball so it goes in. But we don't just put inside spin on the cue ball, we also put top spin on the cue ball. We add top spin for 2 reasons. 1, it adds backspin to the object ball, which makes it bank shorter. And 2, if you draw, the cue ball crosses the object ball bank path line and it could block the bank shot. Or it could help in some cases. So here I use top left because, like our crazy X's, we are now expert manipulators and we can manipulate the object ball to go in even if it doesn't want to go naturally.
I will be honest, this isn't the highest percentage shot. It did go in there. Just know that it is more of a gamble when you're taking this in a game, and you really need to practice to make sure you get a feel for it, because this is a very field-dependent shot and it matters on which table you're at. Now that I mentioned that, let's talk about 9-foot tables.
On 9-foot tables, the 3-rail bank typically goes long, so we have to count the rail we're banking off of by a smaller number. So we start at 0, then we count by 7, so 7, 14. The rail we're banking from is still the same, so it's 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then again, all you have to do is match the numbers, it works the exact same. Also, any of the object ball manipulation that we've learned is also the same. That still applies on the 9-foot tables. The only real difference is at the 10-10 line, the ball starts to bank too long. So you'll notice here I had to use top inside in order to manipulate the 15 to bring it into the pocket. The reason is, if you look at the 8-8 line, look at how close the object ball gets to that corner pocket. It gets super close. So that explains why you need to start manipulating the object ball at higher numbers. As you've probably seen, this is a super niche 3-rail bank. You're not going to be able to use it at all times. It's definitely not going to be the bank that wins you every single game. I hope you don't have to use this bank every single game. But that doesn't mean it's not useful. Because sometimes, yeah, you may end up in an unlikely scenario where both pockets are blocked, but it can also be useful if you're playing a game where slop counts like 9-ball and you need to make a bank, but you aren't really sure of the correct bank line, so you may want to err on the side of overbanking, because you know that the bank, if you overbank it, it could give you that sweet, sweet slop into the side pocket. On the flip side, if you're playing 8-ball and you have to call your last pocket and you have to bank the 8, it's nice to know that the side pocket is a threat. So if you hit it too hard and you overcut the bank, you could make the 8 in the wrong pocket and lose. Or if you're playing a safety, it's nice to know that this line exists so you don't accidentally safety yourself. I've done this plenty, so if you want to learn how to at least get out of this situation, you can check out my 2-rail banking system video as well.
So there is a 3-rail bank. This shot's not the most useful, but it does come up sometimes, and not everybody knows this shot, so I wanted to make sure you know it. But most importantly, this shot looks cool. Pull it out whenever you want, even if you're just messing around with friends. It's really fun to see. Again, if you learned something, if you like what you saw, if you had fun, like, comment, subscribe, but more importantly, keep taking your hobbies too seriously.